So moving on to solving equations. Okay? We will be doing a lot of that again. Okay, so when you're solving equations, the first thing you want to do, you want to simplify both sides of the equation. Most likely you're going to have one letter, which is one unknown, and then you're going to have to isolate for that unknown. Now, bed math and reverse bed math and order of operation, okay, and opposite operation. These are things that you need to know and you need to be aware of. So let's talk about, I'll explain them to you while I'm solving the question. So once the question asks you to solve, that means you want to leave one letter, the letter that you have, you're going to leave it on one side by itself. Everything else have to move to the other side.
So, hold on. So the minus 8 will be on the one side?
So you see how the minus 8 is here by itself?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
And then you have the 3n minus 14.
So we have 14?
And you want n to be by itself.
Yeah.
And everything else has to move to the other side.
So 3 take away.
So what? 14 and 14 will go to the 8.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is it
So
positive, no?
3. So 14. Okay. Yeah.
So this is where opposite operation comes in. So what's happening here with the 14? What are you doing to it?
You're moving it.
It's minus, right?
Yeah,
It's a minus. When you move it to the side, it's going to become a positive.
Okay.
Because you're bridging
The equation.
the equal sign. Anytime you bridge the equal sign, you change your operation. The opposite operation are the following. Positive, the opposite of it is negative.
So anytime you bridge the equal sign?
That's right.
Is it only positive, negative?
It's an opposite operation, okay? No matter what it is. It's always sort what?
Is it only when it's those two?
There's two more. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. Okay? So, if you have a multiplication, you're going to switch it to division.
So let me guess, anytime you bridge the equal sign, it's always the opposite?
Yes.
So
You're going to perform the opposite operation.
Swap.
Okay? You're going to swap. Okay? So, the first thing I did is I moved that negative 14 over. It became a positive 14. Okay? So now I have minus 8 plus 14 equals to 3. Are you guys okay with that?
No.
Okay. Now let's simplify that. What's negative 8 plus 14? So 6 equals 3. Now remember, the goal is to leave that letter by itself. What's happening between the 3 and the n? Multiplication. So when I move that multiplication at 3, when I move it over, what does it become? Division. So it's 6 divided by 3 equals to n, because I'm bridging that equal sign. Okay? So my answer is going to be 2 and equals to n, and I'm done. And
okay, so okay, all right. So
Yes.
you give me 3n. So when you see 6 equals to 3n,
Yes.
you automatically divide.
yes, because what's happening between the 3 and the n? What are you doing? It's 3n. It means it's 3 times n.
Yeah.
Right? This means 3 times n. So you're multiplying. When you bring it over, it becomes a division because the opposite operation is division. Now this is one of the simplest forms. Okay? Like you see the next one, it's not as simple. I have to simplify it first. I have to do what I did earlier with like adding things and, you know, simplifying. Then I can move things around. Okay? Let's look at the next one. Do you see distributive property? Yes. Where do you see it? The 6 multiplied by the bracket after it. Right? And the 5 multiplied by the bracket after. Okay? So let's simplify it. Y plus 6y
minus
18.
10.
Okay. Now, remember that I want the letters on one side and the numbers on the other side. So, I already have two of the terms that have letter here. So it's better to move this over, right? Instead of moving the other two. This is a positive 5y. When I move it over, what does it come? Negative 5. Are you guys okay with that? Okay. Now you see that negative 18? It doesn't belong in that side because that's the y side. Okay? I want to move it over. Because it's a negative, when I move it over, what does it become?
Positive.
Positive. So I'm going to leave that 10 and then positive 18. So you see what happens here? There's two switches. Number one, I switch the 5y over to become a negative 5y because I want it all with the y's. You see all the y's on here. And then I moved that negative 18 over to the other side and it became a positive 18. Are we good with that? Now, the next step is to collect like terms. So on the left hand side I have all three y's. So y plus 6y minus 5y. What is that equal to? 2.
2y.
So 1 plus 6 is 7. Take away 5 is 2. Am I done? No. What else do I have to do?
Y is equal to 14.
Divide by 2 because this is a multiplication here. Bring it over, it becomes a division. Okay, 3 over 4t minus 2 equals to 7. What do you want to do?
Is it T over 1?
It's t is technically it's 3 over 4t. So yeah, you can say t is over 1, but that's not going to change my things right now.
Say that again, what did you do?
Oh,
It was multiplied?
I didn't say anything, it's just asking if t is over 1.
Oh.
Yeah. But what do you think I should do first? Move the what over?
7.
I don't see it. Oh, 7. No, I want to leave this by itself. Remember, I want to leave t here by itself. Okay? So,
Oh, so take
I have to
minus 2.
move
Positive
this
zero.
over so it doesn't become.
Positive 2.
So we're going to be multiplying with this now, this division. Actually,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's a 9. Okay. You have 3 over 4t. How can you get rid of that 3 over 4? You don't want it because you want t by itself. T has to be by itself, nothing else.
Multiply both the sides by 4 by 3.
That's right. So you can multiply by 4 over 3. But there's another way that you can do it step by step. Okay? Let's look at it this way. Let's analyze it. I am multiplying by 3 and I'm dividing by 4. Is that right? Do you see that? There's a division by 4, there's a multiplication by 3. Okay? So if I want to remove that division by 4 and I want to bring it over, what does it become?
Times.
Times. Right? Do you guys see that? Now, what Harry's saying, right? Just said, he said that I can multiply by 4 over 3. That's one step done. But if you don't see it this way, you can do it as what I'm showing you right now. Okay? Now, I have 3 times t.
So it's supposed to give you the bottom number that goes over?
That's right. So I have 3 times t. If I want to bring the 3 over, what does it become? Division. So that equals to 9 times 4 divided by 3.
This one you lost me.
Hmm?
This one lost me. Well, not really.
I can redo it if you want me to re-say it. So, I'm moving the 2 over. Was that fine? Okay. The next step was I have to get rid of the 3 over 4. Because this is a division by 4. When I bring it over, it becomes a multiplication by 4. So then I will have 9 times 4. Then I have a multiplication by 3, so it's 3 times t. When I bring it over, it becomes a division by 3. So what's the final answer?
E equal to 12.
27.
So 9 times 4
36?
divided by 3. Yep, 36 divided by 3 is
12.
12.
What grade is it again?
Yeah, this is grade 10. Stop. Actually,
9.
okay.
I don't want to see 11.
Okay, the next one is kind of similar but a little bit different than the previous one. You always have to think about what do I need to move first. Okay? Now in this case, we moved the 2 over first, or the negative 2 over first, because it was by itself on the side. In this case, I have 3x minus 2, all of it divided by 4 equals to 5. So what do I move first?
4.
The 4, that's correct. Okay? Because this whole thing, right, is all divided by 4. So I can't deal with this until I get rid of this. Okay? So, since I'm dividing by 4, when I move it over, what does it become? Excellent. So I have 5 times 4. Are we okay with that so far? Okay. So I have 3x minus 2 equals 5 times 4 is 20. What's the next step? Move the 2 over, it becomes plus 2, so it becomes 22. Again, you guys don't have to show every single step that I'm showing. I'm just showing it to you so you guys, when you go back to it, you know what happened. You don't say like, how did she get that 22?
But you said that, you sure we said if I'm going to get the answer wrong, you'll get half a mark.
Yes, that's right.
Better.
That's right, right? But I mean, technically you don't have to show me this step, right? You can just write this right away. But I'm showing it so when you go back and look at your notes, you know what happened.
Yeah.
So we divide?
Then divide, that's right. And I don't think that will be simplified. I think we have to leave it as 22 over. Okay? It's okay if we get fractions. Fractions are not scary. And they're not wrong.
Madam?
Yes.
Can't we solve this question by cross multiplication?
That's what, technically, that's what we did when I multiplied the 4 by the 5. That's exactly what happened. Okay. Are you okay with this? Right? Moving over, you know, dealing with things? Okay. The next one is one of the hardest of all. Okay? So I'm going to teach you how to do it so it's simpler. As you can see, I have fractions. Okay? When I have fractions, it kind of makes things ugly. I want to get rid of them. To get rid of fractions when you have an equal sign, the best way to do it is to make sure that all your fraction is the same. So instead of having a 4 and a 2 and a 1, right, because this is divided by 1, right, it's better if you have a common denominator across the whole the whole equation, okay? So I'm gonna write this like this, so you know. This is the the same thing. I haven't changed anything yet. Okay? I just wrote it in a way where you see all the fractions, okay? So it's 3t over 4 minus 2 over 1 equals to t plus 2 over 2, okay? As of now, I have not changed anything yet. I'm just writing it in a way to look nicer and neat. Now, my denominators are the following: 4, 1, and 2. What's my common denominator? 4. Remember the multiples that we talked about the first day? 4. So my common denominator is 4. This already have a denominator of 4, so I don't need to do anything to it, right? It stays the same. What do I need to multiply this by to make it a 4? Anything I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So it's going to be negative 8. Now, what do I do to this to make it
2t.
4? So multiply by 2. This is where you have to be careful. Can I have your attention here? This has to be written like this. Okay? 2 bracket t plus 2, because that 2 is multiplied by everything that you see up there. Okay. Are we okay with that so far? Okay. Now you see that I have an equal sign, and on both sides of the equal sign I have 4s in the denominator, correct? Okay. This is where eliminating makes you have yes. Whenever you have that case with an equal sign, and you have the same denominator on both sides, you can actually get rid of that denominator. You can't just ignore it. Okay? Because they simplify. There is a whole reasoning for it, but if I do show it to you, it's going to get you more confused. Okay? So as of now, just remember, if you have the same denominator everywhere with an equal sign in the middle, you can get rid of them. So I can write this as 3t minus 8 equals to t 2t plus 2. Now we're going back to the easier stuff, right? Distributing. Now distributing is easy, isn't it? And moving things around. If you guys are finding that this is hard for you, you probably should go take the grade 10 first and then move back to grade 11, because this is where we teach what we teach in grade 10. Technically, this should be a review, easy, done, and go. Now, move the t's to one side, move the numbers to the other side. So that's 3t minus 2t equals 4 plus 8. Anyone doesn't know what I'm doing? Move the 2t over, it becomes a negative 2t. Move the negative 8 over, it becomes a positive 8. 3t minus 2t is? T or t. Same thing. It's the same thing, exactly the same thing. 4 plus 8? Can I just say I'm done?
Yes.